Okay, folks, we are a few hours away now from Silverstone. I'm so excited. It's an 8-round championship, and it's been a brilliant distraction. And I want to take hats off to every competitor that has taken part in our E-Championship by Pirelli for Trans Am. And right now, I've got the man leading the way at the moment by just 3 points going into that final round at Silverstone. He is, of course, the number 4. Tyler Kicera. And Tyler, first and foremost, fantastic race last time out. A little bit of controversy. Maybe we can start there because you're going to come into Silverstone with a weight penalty. First, let's discuss last time out because it was a great weekend and some great racing.
Yeah, thanks, Jonathan. Yeah, in qualifying, I knew it was going to be so important. I was quick, in practice, and but it's such a hard track, Bridgehampton, to get everything. Cold barrel right out of the pits. So I just didn't have it, and got a little traffic on a couple of my laps, and ended up P3 in qualifying, which really I kind of knew from there it was going to be an uphill battle. Worked really hard to get around Ryquist in race 1 and finished P2 to Josh. And man, I knew with the reverse grid I was going to have to go in that second race, and I'm typically a pretty calculated driver, and I don't take big risks unless, there's something on the line. And he was right behind me, and such a hard track to pass. I knew I had to get as many as I could, early on. And so the penalty that I got coming into this weekend was with really slight contact with Ernie, actually. Just a little bit of he probably broke a little sooner than me. I had showed my nose, was really just kind of trying to spook him a little bit. And he caught me off guard, and I pushed him a little bit wide. And so, that was one incident. The other was with DiFrancesco. So, hate that he ended up where he did, but, there was really hard racing for 2 laps. And again, you have to take big risks on that track to make a pass. And, I think it was a little bit at play there that kind of went into that where he ended up. But yeah, it's, I was feeling really good at the end of that race weekend. I managed to track down Archer. I knew I had to maximize points and, get that point for leading the lap and those 3 bonus points over second for winning, and managed to achieve that. Unfortunately, I don't know that cushion really makes me feel any better with 40 kilograms in the car this weekend.
I know it's going to be tough. You're carrying quite a lot of weight. Hurley says he's going to try to get pole because of your weight difference. He thinks he's got a chance of maybe outpacing you in qualifying. What's your plan?
My plan is honestly just to try to go out there and get as much as I can in qualifying. I think, there's going to be this succession of things that happens. The first domino that's going to fall is qualifying. That's going to dictate a lot about the first race. And I think, it's based on the test race, it's a relatively hard track to pass, even when somebody ahead of you doesn't quite have the pace. So I'm hoping that, again, if I can qualify ahead of Josh, I'll have enough pace that I can keep him behind me. Honestly, I'm encouraging Ryquist to sit on the pole, lead every lap, and win the race, because he can get all the bonus points he wants. I just need to keep Josh from getting them at the end of the day.
Well, I've got his email if you want to pass some cash.
Yeah, he's like, I told him this on Discord, and he said to me, he's like, "Do you have any pointers for me?" And I was like, "Consistency, man. You just gotta be able to go out there and do it, at the drop of a hat, and do it as close as you can to that optimum lap every lap of the race." And that's honestly what I've tried to do all season at every track I've learned, and I think that's paid dividends, in these races over the kind of the course of how they've played out.
You enjoyed the E-Trans Am Championship because it started as a bit of fun, but like we've been saying to a lot of the drivers, it quickly turned into it's bound to, I suppose, put a bunch of competitive people together. But has it surprised you, the level of competition and how seriously everyone's taken it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like you said, and we talked about before, I mean, it did start out as a fun, hey, we get to go racing and everyone's locked down, and but it quickly turned into work. You feel like if you don't get practice and seat time in the sim during the week before the weekend, you're going to be behind the 8 ball. And I've got Carbotech brakes and How Racing I'm trying to represent, and I don't want to let them down. And again, I was new to the series, so I kind of see this as an opportunity to make a name for myself a little bit in the series and get my name out there. And see where that leads, in real life. Um, but yeah, it's been a ton of fun, and honestly, I haven't run competitively for a championship in anything for a couple of years. I've been just doing kind of one-off races here and there in various series and cars. So it's actually been really fun. I love championship racing. It's all about consistency across the season, and you need to have really strong performances every week, but there's a little bit of give and take, and anything can happen in the championship. So it's been a lot of fun to kind of get back into that championship mentality, versus just going for outright wins, every week, which is definitely a different way to approach, a race or race season.
And how have you enjoyed Assetto Corsa and what Talk Motorsports have thrown at you? Because we've been around the world, from Laguna all the way around to yesteryear at Bridgetown and Riverside. So what do you think of the platform and the game?
Yeah, I think it's been really great, actually. I think the experience, the visuals are pretty stunning. I've got a pretty awesome graphics card in my computer because I'm running VR, and I can have all the settings on max, and so I get some pretty amazing shadows and shading and textures. And I've caught myself a number of times almost forgetting in the sim, because I'm in VR, that I'm not. It's like I snap out of it that this is just a sim. And especially when it's in the heat of the battle in some of those races, I really kind of lose myself in it, which says a lot about the game, the sim, and the competition as well. I mean, like you said, it's been fierce the entire way. There's been a whole host of people that have challenged, and so it's definitely kept both, I think, Josh and I honest.
Well, like you say, you've definitely represented your name well, and like you say, you were relatively unknown. What are your real world plans once we do get out of lockdown?
Yeah. So I was hoping to make it to Road America for the first Trans Am race of my season. I was hoping to do Indy, but that got canceled. So it may be Road America. Definitely Watkins Glen, because that's in my backyard, as well as Virginia. And I don't know. If I can pull out a win in this championship, you might see me at Laguna at the end of the year. So we'll have to see about that. But yeah, I mean, honestly, like I said, I was hoping to use the championship as a way to get my name out there, maybe get some respect with the drivers I haven't had a lot of seat time with. At the end of the day, too, hoping to show what I can do in, we'll say, equal equipment, which I feel like there's a lot of variables at play in the real world that aren't in play here. So hoping maybe somebody will recognize that, and maybe that'll lead to some other opportunities down the road. Definitely isn't going to hurt, to have on the resume.
I think it's kind of cool. I know we were supposed to go to Lime Rock, and that would have been fun, but Silverstone's pretty cool too. And of course, the home of Grand Prix Motorsport. All the greats have won there. You've got a chance to do it. You've done some practicing already. What's going to be the challenge of Silverstone?
Well, like I said, I think it's even though it has a lot of different corners, and there's slow corners, fast corners, I think it's going to be pretty tough to pass. I don't see any really clear major overtakes unless you force the issue. It's a pretty fast track. A couple of slow corners, but they're not really corners that you can do much in, I don't think. So, again, I think qualifying is going to be really important. And again, there's so many corners and they're so different. The nuances of the track, I think getting them right and being consistent, to hit those very, very thin margins is going to be key to, I think, being successful this weekend. And again, avoiding, the luck of the draw in that second race with the inverted start. I think that's always a potential for disaster for anybody, really.
And who else do you think, you mentioned Ryquist, who else do you think will come in as a factor that you'll have to deal with?
Well, I mean, if I'm going based on lap times, I mean, I'm not sure how much time Ernie put in, but I think when he invests the time in the prep, he's usually right there with us. Savajian, I've got to think is probably sandbagging a little bit. He hasn't even done a lap on the server. I'm pretty sure he's racing, and I know he's probably going to show up and be right there with us. So I think, like I said, Ryquist, Savajian, Ernie, Josh, myself, will probably make up the top five, but you never know. There could be somebody else that squeaks one in there and breaks us all up.
Well, I spoke to Josh and I was trying to get some trash talk, but now I found out that actually you get on really pretty well and you've been on Discord. He was very respectful and very nice about your racing and how clean it was and how impressed he was with you. So, it's hard to get you guys talking bad about each other.
Yeah, it is hard, but at the same time, because I think we are so friendly, I don't feel so bad, at the end of the day. But no, Josh has been an awesome competitor. I think he downplays a little bit his pro sim abilities. He is an engineer and a coach, and I do some coaching as well on the side, not as my career, but I'd say he's very involved in this. And so for me to be able to come out and even hang with him, I think, I think regardless of how this whole thing turns out, I'm going to be really, proud of the performance across the entire season. But yeah, I don't know. If we're talking about trash, he did take me out at Daytona, and he spun me and didn't get anything at Barcelona. So feel a little bit shorted there. But at the end of the day, I guess that's in the past, and we have to look forward. So, but yeah, he's been really clean, racing with me. So I really don't have much, critical of him to share or say. But yeah, it's been fun to have this rivalry develop in a really friendly way.
Yeah, no question. And, like you say, it was started as a bit of fun, but there's some real prizes to be had, and a real trophy is up for grabs. So what would it mean to win the E-Trans Championship if you can pull it off?
I guess the cliche, dream come true. I don't know. It would mean a ton. Like I said, I haven't done a lot of racing in the last couple of years. Been a lot more like one-off races. And, every driver knows, seat time is king. So I always feel like I'm behind the eight ball a little bit when I come to the track. And, just to win these races that I've won against the competition I have, if I can cap it off with a championship, I'm really going to feel, it's going to be a great feeling kind of going into the real world, knowing that I've got this under my belt and that it's the first one, so it'd be super thrilling and exciting for myself and for my partners. And I don't know. I'm trying not to think too much about it because I'm trying to be realistic here and knowing that I'm really behind the eight ball. I know Josh is going to have his challenges too, but it's I'm trying to go into it with an open mind and not get ahead of myself too much. There's still work to be done.
How much are you going to practice tonight?
Well, my company gave everybody off for Juneteenth. So I've got some time today, and I do plan as soon as we're done here to probably go down and try to run some laps and see if I can get a little more consistent. I don't know that I'm going to be able to get much quicker, but if I can just try to be more consistent, I think that'll maybe make up for the wait a little bit. It's going to be close to probably half to 3/4 of a second a lap. So got to figure out how to make up for it otherwise.
Yeah, like you say, you need other people to get in the way maybe and slow him down a bit.
Yes.
Well, listen, at least if nothing else, you can wander around Pennsylvania with some bragging rights if you win or don't lose, because you can say, well, I beat Montoya, I beat Connor Daly, Tony Kanaan. These are good names.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's been great to have those guys in the series, for the exposure. And, again, I've honestly been really impressed with Kicera. When I watched, your interview with him and the fact that he's left-footing the whole thing, I think, not to downplay any of the other guest drivers' performances, but I think he honestly came in and was probably the quickest off the bat of anybody that's been a guest driver. And the way he's done it, I think, is really impressive. So, hats off to him for his performance.
And also to go back to Spa.
Absolutely.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, listen, Tyler, I'm so excited for you. I can't wait till tomorrow. Is there anything you want to let me know before the race that I should know for my commentary in terms of your preparation or anything you've done differently this week?
Not entirely, no. It's like I said, I'm just trying to treat it like another weekend. Been pretty successful at gaining points on Josh each weekend, except for a tiny slip last weekend and at Barcelona. So I think if I can just go out and do what I've done, I think we'll be the champions in the end, but we'll see at the end of the day how it shakes out.
Well, you need that 3/4 of a second. You got rid of the hair on the top. Do you think maybe shaving the beard now to give yourself a little bit more trim?
I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Well, Tyler, it's been great watching you and watching the number 4 sponsored by Carber Tech and How Racing Enterprises. I think you've done them proud. The car looks fantastic. I think you should put it in a museum and keep going with the real deal. And thanks for talking to us again. And best of luck. May the best man win.
Thanks, Jonathan. It's going to be interesting. So, yeah, stay tuned for sure.